coming in today, everyone. Let me run through how we make beer here at Brewing. So everything that you're drinking was made here. We don't contract anything out. So we start with the grains and work our way right through the final packaging here. We've got 4 ingredients to beer. Your malt or your grains. I'll kind of use them both synonymously. Hops, water, and yeast. Starts right here. We get all of our grains in 50-pound bags. And we'll start off by positioning this platform over by the mill, and we just kind of pump those bags up the stairs and dump each one in. It's about 20 bags that goes into a batch of beer. We collect everything. You take a look at that large bag right there. That's a bag of crushed grains, and that's going to go into our next flagship batch, which we're going to be brewing on Monday morning. So on the brew day, what we do is we use our fork truck, slide it through those hoops from the bag to lift the bag up. Position the bag over the hopper in the back, pull the drawstring, let the grains flow out into the hopper. There's a feed screw in that tube that runs up along the wall, takes the crushed grains to the top, and then they drop into this tank, which is called our mash tun. As the dry grains fall in, we also pump in hot water, mix everything up, and that starts the brewing process. So think about brewing coffee, think about brewing tea. It's the same thing, we're just brewing grains. One other thing happens, in this case, however, is that there are enzymes in the grains, and those enzymes convert the starches to sugars, which are important as we get later on in the beer making process. So at the start of the mash, it's a very starchy liquor. If you were to take a sample out and drink it, it's kind of like flour and water or pasta water. And at the end of the hour, that's how long it's in there, it's very sweet. It's like a syrup. So at the end of the hour, we transfer the liquors over to this tank, which is called our brew kettle. Wash the grains, kind of again like your coffee pot where the water's flowing over the grounds over here. Send those over as well, then we bring that to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then we add our hops. All right, our hops contribute 3 properties to the beer. They contribute bitterness, flavor, and aroma. So the hops that we put in the beginning of the boil, so once it starts boiling, we'll add hops. Those are going to bitter the beer. This is going to help to balance out the sweetness of the malt. Right? Like I said, very, very sweet, just like a syrup. Those initial hops are going to balance it out, and then the hops that we add later on in the boil are going to actually start to add some flavor and some aroma. So it's in there for an hour, and at the end of the hour, we transfer the batch through a heat exchanger back to the brewery. We need to cool it down. Keep in mind, we're boiling. We need to get it down to room temperature as quickly as possible, so it's a heat exchanger that does that. Get it into one of our fermenters, and then we add our yeast. At this point, the yeast takes over. The yeast eats the sugar that we made back in the mash tun, and it converts that sugar to alcohol, which stays in the beer, why we all love beer, and carbon dioxide, which just off-gasses out the top. As we kind of walk back down the aisle, I think this fermenter right here, we'll be able to see the bubbles coming out of the bucket, and that's the carbon dioxide that, again, is being generated while I'm doing this. So it's in the fermenter for a week at about 70 degrees fermenting, and at the end of the week, we're going to cool it down. All of these tanks are temperature controlled, so we'll cool it down to 34 degrees. That allows all the yeast to settle to the bottom of the tank. And we transfer the beer off the yeast bed into that metal tank in the center. That's called our bright tank. And in that tank, we then pump carbon dioxide back in, which will carbonate the beer. And at that point, that is nothing more than a 600-gallon beer tank. All right, that's finished beer, carbonated beer, and from there we pack out into kegs or into cans. Right? Typically what we'll do is try to split and do half kegs and half cans, and you'll understand why when I explain our